I need to be at the 10. If you're not at the 10,
I don't want to do this anymore.
I like your attitude.
Hi everyone, welcome to the very first episode of this new and exciting program as part of the Youth Taskforce initiative. It's called YTF TV! Woo! And I clap.
Oh, are we supposed to clap?
Okay, Wilson, actually, why is this program called YTF TV? Because when I first heard it, I was like, wait, what? Yong Tau Foo?
Yeah, you're right. YTF is the short form for Youth Taskforce, but just like a bowl of Yong Tau Foo, life is filled with so many different ingredients such as happiness, concerns, fears, and aspirations, and so on. A bowl of life's Yong Tau Foo can be hard, but at the same time, it can be very rewarding in the end as well.
Yeah, I totally get it. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Youth Taskforce, it is led by the Young NTUC, and it is our sincere invitation to youths aged 18 to 25 to understand your concerns, fears, and aspirations.
Yep, and in this YTF series, we will be talking about interesting topics that's relating to youth. In this very first episode, we have invited two youths, Samantha and Gerald.
Hi guys, welcome!
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha. Still a youth, but not in my first job anymore.
Hi, I'm Gerald. I'm a fresh graduate from Ngee Ann Polytechnic.
And we also have a special guest today. He is a content creator and you might know him as the son of a peach, or better known as Makcik. So here we have Hafidz!
Hello. Hi, my name is Hafidz. Eternally young. So that's the reason why I'm here. Can I help myself to the Yong Tau Foo?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can,
man. Yeah, actually all of you can just start.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually what is your favourite ingredient from Yong Tau Foo?
For me, I like the seaweed chicken.
Yeah.
This is a very healthy version of Yong Tau Foo, by the way.
There is no fried thing.
Fried stuff.
Good for you.
But it's good for us.
How about Samantha?
My favorite one would probably be the tau pok, because it has a lot of feelings.
Okay.
Wow.
Tau Foo, because you got a lot of feelings.
And Gerald?
Similarly to Hafidz, I also like a lot of fried stuff in my food.
Oh.
Like it to be a little bit unhealthy.
So while our guests are eating their Yong Tau Foo, we will also be picking up our topic for today. So, can we invite Gerald?
Go, Daryl.
Yeah, so over here we have a fake bowl of Yong Tau Foo filled with ingredients and different topics. So today our guest of honor will be picking a topic.
You represent.
Okay.
What?
So what is that ingredient? What do you think it is?
Tau pok.
So it's Samantha's favourite ingredient.
So today we will be talking about quiet quitting and whether it's a today thing.
Yeah. So Wilson, quiet quitting has been a trending topic on TikTok lately, right? Do you know what quiet quitting actually means?
I have it right here. Quiet quitting is an informal term for the practice of reducing the amount of effort one devotes to one's job, such as by stopping the completion of any task not explicitly stated in the job description. The term implies that this is done secretly and or without notifying one's boss or manager. Quiet quitting, however, does not actually refer to quitting a job. It's on dictionary.com even. Talk about the speed in updating.
They're really making that term official. Okay, so do you think that quiet quitting is a today thing? Let me ask our guests.
I think quiet quitting is not a new concept. It may be a new term that we just coined, but I think the concept of setting your own boundaries and enforcing those boundaries, I don't think that's a new concept. So for example, like all the people who in the past who hated their jobs and they just said, I'll just do the bare minimum so I can pay the bills. I think that's also like a form of quiet quitting, just the term wasn't coined as such back then.
Yeah, so I think like for example, I think my mom, I remember when I was growing up, my mom resented her job, and she was dragging her feet to work. Fortunately, she has found her calling and have found her passion, and she is happy in her current job, but that definitely is a thing not just of now, but in the past as well. Yeah.
Actually, it seems like it has always been happening, and this has just finally kind of like gotten an official label on it lah. So before we dive into quiet quitting, right? First question and first activity of the day, please write down one word to describe how you feel about your job right now.
Okay, right, are we ready?
Nice.
Alright, let's start with Gerald first. Right here, engaging. Right, explain?
Yeah, so I think because I'm new to the task force, everything I do is a new thing for me. always learning new things. So my job has been very engaging and fulfilling.
I wrote fulfilling.
Oh, cute.
So at my current role, I am actually doing youth engagement, and I think that's something that's really fulfilling for me because I get to help my fellow youths engage in things that they're interested in and help them develop, a bit more enriching lives.
Oh, for me, I wrote intense, but got heart shape because I like the good intense. It's a good intense. It's not a debilitating intense. Intense because I do a lot of things. You see, so I teach as well on top of doing content creation, and I perform. So there's rehearsals, there's meetings, there is filming. There is teaching, drawing out of lesson plans. Meeting parents. Yeah. So it's good lah. I mean, as a freelancer, for me, every time I'm busy and I'm doing something, it means that money is rolling in lah. Yeah.
So it seems like the three of you are not thinking of quiet quitting anytime soon, right? It seems like you are still engaged, fulfilled, and intense.
Ask me again in 5 years lah.
But why do you think people actually quiet quit now?
So for me, number one is of course passion lah, and number two, I think burnout lah. Yeah, it's very easy to get burnout. So once you just plateau, right? There's no more drive, so you just plateau lah, and that's when quiet quitting happens for me lah personally. Yeah.
I think for me, why people quiet quit is a few reasons. One, I think they don't feel empowered enough to speak to your bosses about setting better boundaries or about their workload. And I think two, it could also be because they are in situations that don't allow them to change jobs that easily. Maybe they have a lot of financial commitments that makes them a bit more worried about, hey, can I find a new job? If I quit, then what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, so I think that's mainly why people are quiet quitting, because they don't want to lose their jobs, but at the same time they are probably not motivated. They're burnt out maybe. So they just want to do the bare minimum to get by and just pay the bills.
Yeah.
For a passionate worker, they may slowly lose the passion as after working so many years, they have not advanced in their position.
Correct.
And that's why they might resolve to quiet quitting.
So actually, prior to this recording, we also asked some youths a series of questions related to quiet quitting. And here's what they've actually said lah. So just now you guys mentioned burnout, lack of passion, and then just chionging all the way until you just reach that stage where I don't want to do this anymore, right? So actually in our Instagram story poll, we did a quick poll, and 53% of our respondents said that they have lost their motivation to work, and 44% said that they are fine but they get stressed out at times.
Right.
So it seems like a high amount of people are feeling or getting burnt out from their jobs, and this will eventually lead to this whole phenomenon of quiet quitting lah. And that's actually quite worrying, right?
Yeah, it is. So let's ask our youths what their thoughts are towards quiet quitting. Do you agree with quiet quitting, and do you think there's a right or wrong to it?
Do I agree with quiet?
3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay.
So it seems like you don't really agree with it lah.
Yeah, but okay, also because I'm coming from a place where I'm my own boss, so I don't think there is any room for me to quit. Maybe be more quiet lah. Or not quit.
Not quit lah.
Yeah.
Samantha and Gerald actually have the same card on. So maybe Gerald, you can share with us. Why do you choose this card?
Yeah, so for me personally, I won't agree to quiet quit. For me, if I really don't like the job, I would choose to quit it the normal way, and not waste my time here and doing something that I do not like. Yeah.
And Samantha?
I think similar to what Gerald said, I don't think quiet quit is a healthy way of continuing in your job. I think if you really do have issues at your job, you should try to speak to your boss about the workload, and if that's really not possible, then perhaps it's not a very healthy workplace culture to be in. Then maybe you should really consider changing your job, or finding ways to make your work life a little bit more motivating lah. Yeah.
But what do you think? Is there actually a right or wrong to this quiet quitting thing?
On one hand, if quiet quitting, or rather if setting healthy boundaries for your work life, if it really helps you manage your life better, helps you manage your work better and perform better, then I think it's alright to set those boundaries. But if you're using quiet quitting as something like an excuse to do less work, or an excuse to get out of work that you don't like, then definitely that is wrong. Or if your action of quiet quitting increases the burden of someone else or pushes some of your work onto other people, then I think that is wrong as well.
Yeah, correct. I think the moment it affects the people around you, then I think it's not a right thing to pursue, you know, because then you're just being selfish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so based on what you guys have said, it seems that, you know, obviously there's a certain time and place to kind of like apply the principles of quiet quitting, right? Not really quiet quitting in a sense, but more of like setting boundaries, deciding when to rest, when to pace yourself.
Yeah.
So now that you have that thought in mind, do you think quiet quitters, those who actually quiet quit and keep to that definition, are they bad colleagues to have?
Oh,
Okay, come on, let's use the cards again.
are they okay?
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, okay. I think for me it's through gritted teeth because yes, it is frustrating. Yes, it can get very tiring to be around people who do not push or pull their weight. And I know this is a bad habit. I don't recommend it for other people, but because I'm the kind of person like I need to be at the 10. If you're not at the 10, I end up doing your work. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just go for it. So I end up in a lot of occasions helping these people, you know, or just, you know what, just stay. I'll just do it, which is not a good thing. Once in a while, okay, can, but don't make it a habit, all right? Because I've suffered enough, and I know that it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like the team you have to all carry your weight,
Yeah,
right? You want to
correct,
carry other
correct.
people's also.
So that's why I say you must ask me again in 5 years.
We'll invite you back in 5
So
years.
tired of you know, helping people to just go. Yeah.
Yeah, because actually, if you think about it, if like one person quiet quits and the other person has to pick up his or her load, then it ends up becoming like a cycle, right? So then
Correct.
the next person will feel burnt out, and then the next person will have to help this person once they are
And then
burnt
that person will
out.
start quiet quitting again.
Yeah. So it's just
Vicious
like,
cycle.
it just doesn't end. So interestingly, our poll results for Are You a Quiet Quitter is evenly distributed. So with 34% saying yes, 31% saying no, and another 34% saying that they want to be one, but they are afraid to lose their jobs. So it seems like the idea of quiet quitting actually speaks to the youth, but at the same time, they're kind of scared
Yeah.
because they are afraid of losing their job. So they feel like they have to go above and beyond to get to where they want to be in their careers.
Interesting, Aisha. You know, earlier I said like when I define quiet quitting,
Yeah.
it's not actually quitting your job, but rather just doing like work within your boundaries and within your job description.
So how do you think that employers can kind of navigate these situations, and do you think there's something they can do to kind of nip it in the bud? Yeah.
Like create a culture where people will be more willing to actually like contribute more to a team.
It shouldn't have to be the job of the employee to set boundaries. It's your job to set the boundaries. You know, like when is work, once you go finish work, I'm not going to bother you anymore. You do, you know? But I think this also comes with experience, you know? I think our youth need to go through it to understand, you know? I think with experience, you will know when is it I'm doing my job and when is it starts getting exploitative.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So it comes with the experience.
But I think I must also say, doing a bit extra doesn't mean that it is bad.
True.
Yeah.
True.
A little bit extra is not bad.
Gen Zs.
We're calling you
No,
out
because
there.
I work a lot with interns and my interns are Gen Zs. So Gen Zs are very like 6 o'clock means 6 o'clock, and I'm like, but we are not done with food.
Yeah.
Some industries unfortunately just requires you to work at odd hours, and it's okay, you know, and it's okay because there'll be times where you are not working. Sorry.
Shout out
please
to all
don't
the
hate me.
doctors and nurses for OT all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, come on, healthcare workers. Hey, clap, huh?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Applause.
clap,
Clap, clap, clap.
Clap by the window. This window can open or not?
So on the topic of Gen Zs being like people who like work-life balance very big, right? I was actually volunteering in an organization previously, and like in that organization there are a lot of Gen Zs. So actually they wouldn't mind spending like maybe a 15, 30 or even 1 hour more just completing a task together because they appreciate what they can achieve together by offering their time. So like, and they're also appreciated by the organization by them saying, oh, thank you for joining us, thank you for being with us to be able to achieve and do something great together.
I like that the extra work I put in is being accounted for and someone recognizes it. Rather not that I put in the extra work but then nobody sees it, then what's the point of me doing it, right?
What are your thoughts about working behind the camera?
Working behind the camera.
Hiring?
You trying to hire now, is it?
Maybe. I like your attitude.
Thank you.
But earlier we were also mentioning
Yes.
about transiting from working from home and how there's no boundaries because when you're working from home,
Correct.
you seem to be working the whole time, right? Do y'all think that like hybrid or flexible work arrangement reduces the tendency to quiet quit?
Or if you don't think that hybrid or flexible work arrangements can do it, then what are some ways you think that can, you know, like reduce this tendency to quiet quit?
So for example, for me, I'm in the engineering industry, which is obviously very result driven, as you need to make sure that you have the product by the end of this certain term. So what companies can do to make sure that this result is achieved is maybe by having more workers instead of expanding so much workload to such a small team.
And very hard for engineering.
Yeah.
Very hard to work from home or flexible arrangement.
How do you fix the machine from home?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't. We can't fix the machine from home.
There should also be, I think, transparency and openness between employer and employees with regards to timeline, right?
Yes.
Because we're all adults and we have to work, and we have to abide by certain procedures and processes, right? But I think what can be done better is if employers are very transparent and very open to discussing timelines with their employees. Because most of the time, the reason why people quiet quit is because I have to do I have to achieve X amount of things in X amount of time, and I cannot do it, so I'm just gonna, glaze over, So if you start to have that culture where employees are empowered to share with you, okay, you know what, maybe I cannot do this in this amount. Is it possible for me to do this? If there's that openness, then perhaps the situation will be better, Yeah, where it's not always set in stone. Yeah.
So actually, besides quiet quitting, have you guys heard of the term called quiet firing?
Actually, no, I haven't heard of it.
Yep, look to me, I have the definition. So, quiet firing, according to Forbes, involves a careful and concerted effort of a manager or a supervisor to let go of an employee, mainly because the company needs to cut costs or conduct job layoffs.
So do you think that due to this quiet firing, do you think that quiet firing actually contributes to the employee participating in a quiet quitting trend?
Right. I personally think that quiet firing and quiet quitting are interchangeable. I think it's a cause and effect of either or.
Right.
But actually, I think I don't agree with this kind of practice of quiet firing. I feel that if a boss has an issue with their employees not contributing or an issue with the employee's attitude, then they really should have a conversation with the employee and really see how either things can change or maybe the employee just has to be let go lah.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are definitely difficult conversations, but as a boss, that's what you have to do lah. I mean, you have to take into consideration the interests of your team, your company, but also this person, if it's not adding to your value and in fact if it's bringing down the whole team, then it's time to let go. It's time to let go lah.
Do it in a dignified manner. I think that's where we're getting at. If you want to lay off someone, do it. Do not skitter around and do that to someone else.
Don't prolong the pain.
Yeah. Don't prolong our suffering.
Yeah.
Our suffering.
And actually, do you know that NTUC has been working with employers for a couple of things, like encouraging flexible work arrangement, better mental well-being support in the workplace, and even training to ensure that you can continue to remain relevant.
Wow, I didn't know.
And you still want to work with me or not? Yes, I need a foosball table.
More than welcome. We can discuss this after the shoot.
Okay.
So one final question. What do you think can help us craft a future workplace that everyone can thrive in? So how you guys are going to do this is basically through
adding more ingredients into the big bowl of Yong Tau Foo.
Nice. Okay.
It represents your favorite ingredient in Yong Tau Foo.
Is it brinjal or eggplant for you?
I don't know, eggplant or
Okay.
Difference, man.
eggplant.
No, it's not different. But
Same
like,
thing
lah.
what do you say? Brinjal.
5 minutes later.
Actually, this quiet quitting is a very lofty term.
Yeah.
It's so
So we now invite all of you to put your ingredient into this big bowl of YTF together.
let's do it together.
Thank you.
Yay.
Alright.
Yeah, and we hope everyone will be able to achieve their ideal work-life harmony that will support their aspirations. Quick plug, YTF TV is brought to you by Young NTUC and the Youth Taskforce. For more information on Youth Taskforce, please visit youthtaskforce.sg. Thank you for watching this episode of YTF TV. Don't forget to like this video, follow our social media accounts, and share this video with your peers.
Our Youth Task Force Roving Youth Hub will be going to the following campuses, so be sure not to miss it.
And with that, thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate all of the different or differing, opinions that you guys have brought to the table. And thank you for making time to come down and share more with our youth. And with that,
YTF TV, you got this. See you next time. Bye then. How long do we wait?